Alan Ng of Film Threat said that the Reunited States is an essential documentary for anyone who's frustrated with the state of politics today, not only Washington, but at home. And I think you guys did a very good job of driving that point at home. I don't want to know what's going on Capitol Hill. We saw the coup, the attempted coup. We saw that. What's going on at home and inside of our hearts is just like you said. So it's not what's going on out there, what's going on in here. So I wanted to ask you guys this. Who do you guys think would be the most receptive to this documentary, and who would you think would be the least receptive to it?
I mean, I think it depends on who's presenting it, like, and how that each person comes across the documentary. It could be somebody, a conservative, Republican, could be introduced to it through the Levertons, and then they have an access point that they can really kind of adhere to, and they can identify with, and that brings them into it that way. Versus it could be somebody on the left that was outraged by everything that happened in Charlottesville and with Heather Heye's killing, and they got into it through hearing Susan Bro's story. And so it really kind of depends on how the people are approaching it. But that said, I think the core main people that are interested to this or will be drawn to this will be those sort of middle of the pack kind of people, typically mostly, white Americans that we can speak to each other, that can say, hey, let's look at, we've got racial issues in our country and we need to die. It's not about, it's not about finding other people out there to tell us what we need to do. It's about what we can do and sit here and say, I need to recognize this. I need to recognize the fact that we've got all sorts of issues in our country that me as a white man, I came to here and have all these certain privileges, but I have a responsibility and an obligation to look at what I have and how that came to me in a way that maybe it doesn't come to everybody else that way. And I'm getting a little bit off subject here, but anyways, I think it really, really ultimately depends on how what your access point is to the film.
I appreciate that sentiment because I have, there are black people in my life that have expressed to me that haven't we done enough for you? Now you want us to solve your problem with us? Like, no, go and figure it out. There's literature out there. There's resources. You don't need to trouble me with something you're having an issue with me. That's your problem. I think that's a great way of looking at it.
Why don't you subscribe? It'll last longer.